So in My Hero Academia, All For One's goal is to become the Demon Lord of the world. Yes, I know there's a lot more to it than just that. I just wanted to super simplify it since that isn't what today's video is really about. Now, for a lot of people, his goal is kind of shallow and not as deep as they would like it to be, since he is kind of the big bad of the series who has been behind almost literally everything. But what if I told you that being the Demon Lord wasn't his true end goal? Of course, that is his real end goal, as it's been confirmed many times over from flashbacks, the One For All vestiges, and All For One himself. But I believe his true end goal, or his hidden goal, is to actually be reunited with his younger brother Yoichi. Let me explain. So when we finally got to see how One For All got created, we see All For One and Yoichi interacting with each other a lot, and every time when the backstory focused on the both of them together, All For One always says something very interesting to Yoichi. In the first part of the flashback, after Yoichi gets taken down by All For One's bodyguard, All For One says, "Ah, how pitiful, those born without meta powers of their own lack the strength to see their convictions through. Still, I do love you, poor brother of mine, my only family." And soon after, when we see that All For One is about to forcefully give Yoichi a quirk, he says, "If you refuse to submit, I'll just rewrite the story. You matter to me. So I've dug up a meta ability that even you in your feeble state can use. Walk this path with me." In both instances, All For One shows affection towards Yoichi. He states that he loves him and that he matters to him. Though the way All For One shows his love towards his brother is very twisted, it still doesn't change the fact that he had said those things, and it shows. Despite what he's done to Yoichi, he didn't want him to get hurt. All he wanted was for his younger brother to stand by his side. And even when Yoichi refused and rebelled against All For One's ideals, he still wasn't hurt or killed by All For One. Instead, All For One seemed to have kept Yoichi locked up somewhere safe and was still being fed, even though Yoichi refused to eat what was being given to him. Now, there still isn't much known about what happened between Yoichi and All For One after this point, other than us knowing that the second and third users were the ones who saved Yoichi from wherever All For One was keeping him. We also know that every user of One For All besides the 4th, 8th, and 9th had all lost their lives by the hands of All For One. But with that said, I'm not so sure All For One would go as far as to hurt or kill Yoichi. Remember, despite all the rebelling he's done, the furthest All For One went was keeping him locked up in a room and trying to forcefully make Yoichi join him on his journey to rule the world. I can't see All For One killing Yoichi even if he had joined forces with those he deemed to be his enemies. If anything, it was most likely those who followed All For One who were the ones who did the deed. Or All For One had inadvertently killed Yoichi by giving him the stockpile quirk, and Yoichi, already having a weak body, couldn't handle the power of having two quirks in one body. So the stress of having two different quirks is what possibly got Yoichi killed, and is why All For One was the reason behind it. Either way, somewhere between Yoichi's death and now, All For One has been hunting down One For All to steal it. This is most likely because once he found out that all quirks had contained a consciousness of their original users, he must have realized that Yoichi's must be within One For All, which we know is the case. In chapter 311, Hawks and Best Jeanist have an interesting conversation in the car where Hawks and Jeanist says the following: "What I don't get is why Shigaraki's rage is so essential. A strong emotion is key, no? After all, One For All contains 8 other spirits. One needs strength of will to override them. But All For One has been pursuing his younger brother and One For All for generations. You'd expect the guy to hold on to plenty of hatred for all of those other successors. Maybe it's not enough hatred yet, or maybe he has none at all. Think about it, that guy never stops smiling, right?" Endeavor then chimes in saying that there's something missing in his soul. To me, this conversation is important to the theory because I believe what makes him smile is the fact that he could be reunited with Yoichi once again through One For All. And what seems to be missing is Yoichi, the only person that he really cared for. It's mostly just speculation, but what if when All For One found out that Yoichi's quirk was being passed down from generation generation to generation in order to oppose him, he began to pursue Yoichi's quirk to get him back, so that way he could finally get what he's always wanted, which was to finally have Yoichi stand by him as he became the demon lord of the world. This is why we see that he holds no hate when it comes to One For All, because his brother is in there, and that's why he could never forcibly take One For All due to that lack of hate. I also don't think it's too far-fetched to say that this is the case, since we have seen All For One show hate towards those that resemble All Might. So it's not like he isn't capable of showing that emotion at all, or any kind of emotion at all. But when it comes to One For All, he has no hate to give due to Yoichi. And that's pretty much my theory on All For One's true goal being to get Yoichi back through One For All so that he can finally have his brother stand by his side as he becomes the demon lord of the world. It's a small theory with not a lot to go off of, but it's still a theory, and I hope you guys did enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on today's theory. Do you believe this is what All For One is truly after? Let me know everything in the comment section below. Like always, thank you all for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to Detroit smash that like button below, as well as share this video with your friends. It greatly helps the channel out a ton. And if you are new to the channel and you like My Hero Academia content, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification bell to join the Kitoroki Hero Academia to become my hero. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.